Hello, beautiful ladies. I just wanted to jump on and explain a little bit further into Tammy's question and the explanation of implosive and explosive orgasms and the energy. I've just come out of an incredible kahuna massage, so I'm definitely operating a little bit slower today. And the fire is burning, but it's just a slow smolder as opposed to yesterday with the incredible ranty pants that I had on. So this is such a beautiful question and a beautiful topic to go into further, Tammy. So thank you so much for asking. And I wanted to do this at the beach to give you a beautiful backdrop, but it was just too windy and too many people, and you wouldn't have been able to hear me. So you get my beautiful car instead. So implosive and explosive orgasms. So I guess there's three options when we are looking at orgasmic energy: implosive, explosive, and prolonged. So explosive is what we are all accustomed to. It's what we're all very familiar with. It's what we probably have experienced, and probably the only way a lot of women, majority of women, have experienced orgasmic energy and their sensation of orgasm. So it's a build-up, it's a climax, and it builds to this peak, and then you have the orgasm, and it's this massive release of oxytocin, dopamine, other feel-good hormones that just go through your body. It can come with physical shakes, heat, your body warms up, your lips plump, your labia plumps and reddens, and you have this release of endorphins and the orgasmic feeling. The energy whooshes out your body, and you're done. And it is associated most often with clitoral orgasms. So the different origin of orgasm often dictates the type of orgasm it's going to be. So explosive orgasms come from the clitoris, and sometimes, quite often as well, the G-spot. Other areas invoke other kinds of orgasms. So as you go deeper into the sensations and the areas and the points inside the vaginal area, you invoke implosive orgasms or other kind of orgasms. So it's the exterior sensation points like the clitoris and the G-spot, although the G-spot is just inside. That is what creates the explosive orgasms. So that's kind of what we all kind of strive for in sex. You know, you want this orgasm, you get there, build, release, boom, okay, we're done. Sex is done, achieved, tick. And we all, a lot of women, most women, I think it's about 80 or 90% of women are reliant on clitoral orgasms to have experienced any kind of orgasm. And it is, like I said last night, it is this release of energy, giving away of your energy, building that peak within you, and then releasing. Not building it within you. So not building a foundation upon the layers of the energy as you open it up. And because the divine feminine is what creates the orgasm, right? The divine feminine is their uterus. That's what it controls the release of hormones and dictating which hormones to be released at which times. Because as I've discussed in previous webinars, the uterus is a part, so we have the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system. And one is connected to the brain, and the other is dictated by sensory experiences and nerve endings themselves. And so the uterus is a part of this. So the uterus receives its own signals and dictates the response to those signals. So what that means is the divine feminine is its own mind. She is her own dictator of what happens in her space. She receives touch, and she dictates how she responds to that touch. She receives pleasurable stimulation. She dictates increase in oxytocin and increase in that climactic feeling, which when it gets to enough stimulation, she releases a rush of oxytocin and that climactic feeling. And she dictates that response, whether it's explosive or implosive. All the same. That's just a segue really. So, explosive orgasms. Clitoral, build, release. Implosive orgasms often come from sometimes the G-spot, or usually further in, the A-spot, which is a bulb just past the G-spot, so in past your pubic bone, in further, and you'll feel this squishy area, and it's this bulb. It's soft, and you stroke it, and it's soft. And what happens there is it as it's stimulated, it fills with fluid. And that is where a woman squirts from. Yeah, she squirts this fluid, this amrita, from this bulb. And that, when that is stimulated, it is a much deeper sensation, and it is much closer in physical location to the uterus, which causes uterine contraction with orgasm. So it's a much deeper sensation, a deeper orgasm. And it's an area that is incredibly powerful and isn't accessed much. Not a lot of women can orgasm from there like that. It takes the right environment, the right support, the right care to be able to orgasm from that place, as well as all the other places inside. So there's so many places that a woman can orgasm from, not just that one particular spot, but it is probably the most likely and the most accessible to kind of be able to relate to in terms of this kind of implosive orgasm. And what happens is it builds, the same with an explosive. So the sensation starts to build, and it starts to wave through the body. So instead of a steady build, it starts to wave. And the energy comes through her body in waves, and those waves get stronger and bigger until it is this incredible implosive feeling. So the difference between explosive and implosive, it does the same thing. It's still an explosion of sorts. But with an explosive orgasm, the energy is dispersed out here. But with an implosive orgasm, the energy is dispersed in here, within the woman, within her own energy centers, within her physical body. So it is imploded within her sacral chakra, within her base chakra. It implodes into her energy centers, into her subtle anatomy, into her aura, her energetic field, and in through the cells of her physical body. It's this mass implosion of energy that expels. And I don't want you to mistake implosion doesn't mean explosion, because it still does. The energy is just directed in a different direction. So, and it's not as short and sharp as the explosive clitoral orgasm. It is undulating. Those waves continue, they get big, and they just roll through the woman, and they continue to roll bigger and stronger until it's just this overwhelming sensation. And that is what it is. It says the divine feminine receiving the touch and releasing the hormones in response, but instead the receptors are sending them slowly, hugely, in waves, to create the same sensation, but in an implosive way, feeling it in your body, feeling that energy rise from the sacral chakra up into the rest of your body. And that's what I mean, Tammy, by bringing that energy up, is it just goes in waves, whether you like it or not. It waves through your body. Now the third one, I think my battery's going flat, so I'll speed up a bit. The third type that I mentioned is prolonged, or holding that energy and not actually orgasming. So not having an explosion or an implosion of that energy, feeling that turned on sensation, feeling that horniness, if you like, feeling that sexual drive, that height in libido, and wanting to pleasure. So wanting to have sex, wanting to pleasure yourself, wanting to orgasm, wanting to release that energy, because that's all it is. It's this build-up of energy. And it's a beautiful practice to let it build up and just sit with it. So not do what is required to release the energy, whether that would be to masturbate and self-pleasure, or whether that would be to do what you need to do with your sexual partner to have that release of energy. So just stop and just let that energy sit at its highest peak before it implodes or explodes. And just let it sit and undulate through your body, inviting it in, breathing it up through the energy centers up to your crown, and let it flow through your energy field. And just let it be present, absorb it into you, and not give in to that need, desire to explode it outwards. And it's hard, because when you're at that peak, in that heat of the moment, the literal heat of the moment, you just want that release. But this is about letting that build and just be in that incredible, intense state of energy. And that is the intenseness of the divine feminine. That is her at her peak. That is her in her absolute glory of absolute reception of pleasure and sensation. And she is holding it all there, holding it, surrounding it with oxytocin and that beautiful love feeling, and just sitting with it. Just like heart coherence, generating that sensation and then just breathing with it and sitting in it. It's exactly the same thing, building that sensation up, building those levels of oxytocin, dopamine, all of that good stuff in your body, and just sitting with it. Feeling your vagina throb, feeling the turn on, and just let it sit. So I hope that explains a little bit more about what you were asking, Tammy, about the kind of the different ways energy is built and released. And again, it comes back to where the stimulation is coming from. Yeah, so the clitoral, the labial, all those kind of things generate explosive orgasms. And as you go internal, you get those more implosive orgasms, because it is the deeper parts of the feminine. So much love to you, beautiful ladies, and I can't wait for Sunday night to go even deeper. I'm loving this. It is so exciting, and thank you, beautiful women, for doing the work. Bye.